Welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 324, recorded live on October 21st, 2025. And we're going to be talking a lot about some little news stories that happened, but especially some Nintendo sales numbers that's been released up to August of 2025, especially some Nintendo Switch 2 sales numbers that have been included in there. We're going to get into that in just a little bit later, but before we do any of that, we should probably introduce ourselves. My name's Steve, and of course, I'm joined by Barry and Greg. Barry, how you doing?
I'm here. I'm alive.
It's good. It's
I
good.
managed very stressful and busy and crazy and hectic 2 weeks.
Nice.
Felt like Steve there. There's always busy, always something going on.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah. Speaking of which, I won't be here in the next episode because of that. So, but you know who's going to be streaming this thing? Greg. Greg's going to be streaming. Greg, you ready for that?
Yep, I think it should be much better as we've worked out a lot of the kinks, so it should be hopefully a lot less work for Steve's, but glad to be also alive and well too after a nice trip to Arizona. So there was some hurricane weather that came through from California, so that was kind of interesting to have lots of rain in the desert. So
Yeah, that I was in California when that hit. It was kind of crazy.
And you don't usually hear about hurricanes over on the West Coast.
Nah, it wasn't actually a hurricane, I don't think, but it was like that kind of wind and rain that came in. So that's crazy. I didn't realize it got to all the way to Arizona.
yeah, it was pretty interesting getting lots of rain, like it was like basically raining all night and everything. So it was pretty crazy to be more cooped up inside for
Hmm.
parts of the day.
Wow. Well, thank you guys all for being here. We're going to get into what we're playing in just a second. But before we do that, we just want to thank you again for being here, but also encourage you to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Follow us on social media. And if you haven't yet, join our Discord. All those links are going to be in the show notes. We'd love for you guys to join. And if you're watching the recording or the live version on YouTube, you can find all that stuff in our the YouTube description. That's what it's called as well. And if you are joining us live, please be sure to say hi. I see Zev Zero's already said hello in the chat. So say hi and let us know what you're playing and all the your different thoughts on the news stories that we cover in this episode as well. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to stay on track. I don't think we're going to be missing a beat the rest of this year for 2025, but I will be gone in the next episode. But we are getting closer and closer to our Game of the Year episode. So be thinking about all the different games you've enjoyed this year too, and we'll eventually have a thread or a channel in our Discord where you can throw your thoughts about your games of the year as well as we prepare for that at the beginning of December. But let's get
It's like,
into
3 episodes away, right?
yeah, it's not very far. Like
Oh my God.
I was doing the rundown for this one. I was like, oh my gosh, we are almost to the game of the year already. How did that happen? Didn't we just start
Wow.
2025? We were just talking predictions there today, and the Switch coming out, Switch 2. Here we are at Game of the Year. So yeah, we'll have to have some good conversations around how we'll structure everything this year with two
Yeah.
consoles. We gotta deal with again. So that'd be fun. We haven't had to do that in a while. So let's jump into what we've been playing. And as we've said, if you're watching live, let us know what you've been playing in the chat. If you watch us later, let us know in the comments or hop over on social media or the Discord. But Greg, kick us off. What have you been playing?
Well, the main thing on the Switch 2 that I've been playing has been Hollow Knight Silksong. So thankfully, this time around, I was able to beat the one boss that was plaguing me for quite some time. And like this time when I fired it up after taking like a break for around a week or so, it was like it took him down on like the second or third attempt. So sometimes you just need the break to step away, I guess, and refocus and get through it. So then I've now been moving onwards and continuing to explore new areas and collect more power ups and everything. I wish there was some sort of percentage indicator because I have no idea how far I'm into the game. But um, yeah, it's been still having a blast so far, and thankfully all the other bosses I've encountered after that that one I was stuck on, I've been at least tuned down a little bit so that like I'm able to take those down without as many tries or getting stuck for such a long time. So still having a blast, as I've been saying. So then over on the mobile side, still doing the Roblox games for Adopt Me and Dandy's World. They've had like month-long Halloween events ongoing, so it's just been collecting all the different Halloween exclusive items and partaking in the different like little micro games inside those as well, just to collect all the currencies that you need to acquire all these items. So that's been fun getting all the new stuff there, and then still playing the Cookie Run Kingdom. That's been also a lot of fun just to go through a number of maps, and they've had some story update modes finally to release a new chapter, and then I think another one, the next chapter again will be dropping again like later tonight, so there'll be even more content to take on in the next before the next podcast. So that's pretty much what I've been up to this time.
All right. All right. We have some short lists tonight. Even Barry's got a shorter list. Barry, what have you been playing?
Yeah, I got a shorter list. That's because of 2 games. But on the Switch, still doing Pokemon Unite, Asphalt Legends Unite, just my daily drivers. And I did some Pokemon Scarlet. They had they special raids, two legendary 7-star raids. So I went and I was managed to do them. And they also did those GameStop gave out codes, so I had to put in a code for shiny legendary, and that whole thing is a giant mess. Like GameStop's ran out of codes, and they got a second batch in, and they also went out. So yeah, it's crazy. People like Pokemon. Who knew? Speaking of Pokemon, on the Switch 2, one of the games that has captivated me since it came out has been Pokemon Legends ZA, the Switch 2 edition. I'm really close to the end. I am rank B, so I'm
Wow. It's
figuring I'm
not even
pretty
been out
close
in a
to the
week.
end. Yeah. I'm rank B. It's not hard. It's really not hard. It uh it kind of like guides you along, and while there's like I'm in the 30s of missions, and it sounds like a lot, it really isn't, because like some missions it's like, oh, do like 3 different tasks, and a normal game would be like that's all part of the same mission. In this one, that counts as 3 separate missions.
Hmm.
So it's not that hard. A lot of the side quests too, there's like 100 side quests, and I'm in the 90s, and it's just like, oh, we should battle. A lot of them are we should battle. So I was like, okay, let's just battle. But it's a lot of fun. I loved Arceus. I'm really enjoying this. I love the action combat, that it's like constantly moving. It makes moves that like buff or debuff. Like I've never been a gamer that uses those in Pokemon. I know some like hardcore like, what's wrong with you? And for in Scarlet Violet I did, but for the most part like I wouldn't use them in this game, and actually like bonuses to using it because you can use them back to back. I like that there's no accuracy; it's all like cooldown time. But I'm having a lot of fun. I mean, I know people give the game heat for the balconies or lack thereof. I think it's funny. I mean, yeah, they should have put in a little more effort. Lack of voice acting was definitely something I heard right away or didn't hear, and like it was screamed volume. Like the deafening of it was just spoke volumes. There we go. Can't talk. I wish they would spend some money to just do that. Other Nintendo games use voice acting. Let's just do that. But it's Game Freak. It's not Nintendo. It's Game Freak. But I'm still
Sure.
having fun. My wife is playing it now, so we're having blast, like helping each other, finding Pokemon in the city. And yeah, it's very different, and I appreciate that.
Mm.
The other big game I've been doing on the PS5, finishing from last time, has been Ghost of Yotoi, and I really love this game. I finished it now. It's been a blast. It's a great follow up to Ghost of Tsushima. If you enjoy open world, if you enjoy samurai movies and samurai stories, it's just a lot of fun. And it's the story is actually really compelling. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. It's very emotional, beautiful music, and it feels like you're watching a samurai flick.
Mm.
So definitely recommend it. I wonder if Sony will ever bring it to to Switch. It'll be pretty interesting to see if they do. But definitely a recommend. PC side, still doing Final Fantasy 14 every day, and on the mobile side, still my usual Mario Kart Tour. the LinkedIn games, New York Times games, and Pokemon TCG Pocket.
Nice. I can't remember. There was a you mentioned samurai movies, and there was one that was like dubbed over, and it was like comedically dubbed over. Do you know what that was? Like, I watched it when I was in college, and it's been a long time since I've seen it, but it was hilarious. It was like good samurai, like fighting, all that kind of kung fu kind of thing, but then at the same time it was like really, really funny, dubbed over, and then it put like sounds in it too, so like when they jumped off a building they went squeaky. So that's what I remember.
I think it's kind of weird to say samurai and kung fu. Like those are two very different things.
Well, yeah, and it may have been kung fu. It like this is over 20 years ago, so I have no idea what it was. I just remember it was some sort of Asian movie, and that puts in a very broad category, and it was hilarious. That's all I remember. So that's exactly it. Zev Zero is on track with me. It was Kung Pao into the fist. Yes, that's exactly what it was.
There
So
you go.
not samurai. It was kung fu, but it reminded me of that. Anyway, I did not play a whole lot of video games the last couple weeks, but I did go physical with Pokemon Legends ZA, and I
Wasn't
put
it nice
in a
to pop it in and it just loads, like done, no download?
sure. Yeah, I didn't really think about it. Uh, although, as we will talk about later, I did I second guessed it because I was like, does it need the speed of being on installed on my Switch specifically, or is it going to run okay on the cartridge? Because apparently now that's a thing, but it's been running
It runs
perfectly
fine.
fine, because it's a Switch game. It's just slightly enhanced for Switch 2. So I'm not gonna. I didn't think it was going to actually do that, but now that that's a thing, apparently, that we'll talk about later, it's something at least I think about now. But yeah, I haven't played a whole lot of it. I am far from complete. I'm like 45 minutes into it. So like Barry's like basically done already. I put not even an hour into the game. But I'm enjoying it so far, and I didn't realize, I don't know why. Either I forgot or whatever, but the fighting wasn't turn-based anymore. And so it's like, ooh, what is this? And I still don't quite understand it yet. I'm like, because at least right now my moves are quickly recovering, so I can almost like throw one thing after another, and I'm sure that's going to change depending on what Pokemon it is and all that stuff. But right now I'm like, you're able to like throw one one attack right after another, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, I'm assuming that's going to change over time.
Yeah, later on, more powerful spells or moves take longer to charge, and they have a longer cooldown time, so
Okay,
you can't spam.
got it. I booted up Lego Party. I haven't actually played it, but I like played around with the menus and like looked at it, and it looks really pretty. I'm excited to play it. We need to get some time to play it. I need to, stop traveling so much so we can actually play some video games together. Uh, but yeah, I'm excited to play it because it looks really fun, from what I can tell, like just poking around the menus and things like that. But this is definitely a multiplayer game, and so either play local or online. But it looks really nice on Switch too. And then on mobile, played some Clash Royale, Lasty, Pokemon TCGP, and a Match Collector as I have been traveling around. So yeah. And Zev Zero said that's one of his favorite movies. I'm glad. I'm glad we're on the same page there, Zev. That's great. Have you guys seen Kung Pao? No. Oh,
If I have, it's been a
And
long time.
I don't think I have, but
oh,
if it is, would be on the same page as Barry that it would have been a really long time.
okay. Yeah. Maybe we'll have a watch party in the
That'd be fun.
Discord sometime. That'd be fun. It's such a funny movie. I do need to watch it again. Now I'm getting nostalgic. All right, that's what we've been playing. Let us know what you guys have been playing, and either do that in the live chat right now, or you can let us know in the comments after if you watch the video version on YouTube. Let's hop into our headlines. We've got several different headlines that we're going to be talking through in this episode. And it all starts, of course, with some Nintendo music from Greg.
All right, so on October the 6th, we got the soundtrack for Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year-Old Door, and this is both the Switch remake and also the GameCube version that the entire soundtrack from both games, I guess, has been fully added on there, so be sure to check those out there. And then also on October 20th, we got the soundtrack for Metroid 2, and this is just the Game Boy version. It's not the unfortunately not the 3DS remake as well. But yeah, if you're interested in any of those games, you can be sure to check the or listening to the soundtracks from those games. Be sure to check them out on the Nintendo Music app.
And speaking of updates, back on October 9th, Alarmo got an update. We haven't heard one of those in a while. This time for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, plus Star-Crossed Worlds. You get scenes now available on the clock. All you have to do is connect your device to the internet and link your Nintendo account to download the free update.
Nice. You can wake up to Kirby. We also got some news on the Bane topic that we talked about on our last episode. And as some of you had figured out, the Close to You video was in fact Pikmin. They had just been removed for the most part, except for that one little teaser that they left in there under the couch at one point. But they released a second version on Nintendo Today only, so which is really interesting. And then they eventually had another one where they played it back to back, and you could see that basically it just been Pikmin had been removed in the original and put them in there in the second one. It was done by the Nintendo Pictures animated studio that they purchased purchased and created, kind of slash there a few years ago. But that's really all we know right now. So we'll figure out maybe what this is going to eventually turn into. But at least we know that it's all about Pikmin.
All right, so we got the official date for the Game Awards. They will be taking place on December 11th, and anyone local to LA was where you can go to the Peacock Theater if you want to go watch it live. And obviously, it'll be streamed around the world and everything to tune in on that particular date. But then, pretty much the nominations will be kind of revealed as we go through the month of November. So stay tuned to the Game Award website for more information for this upcoming yearly event.
Oh boy. So Steve gave me this one on purpose, I know. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is in fact coming to Switch 2. We know about that. They had a Q&A with the director, Hamaguchi, and wanted to know what his take was on the Switch 2 game key cards versus the, regular cards. He said, like, well, personally, I feel it's a loading speed issue for the game cartridges, more about the hardware specs of the Switch 2. I'm not with Nintendo, so I can't really speak on that side. That said, I do feel that the game keycard format that Nintendo created for the Switch 2 is a really amazing new idea that they had offered for us. I don't personally see Nintendo working towards trying to improve the loading speeds for the cartridges. Rather, I feel that Nintendo will put more effort into popularizing the game keycard format, which again is a really fantastic idea for us developers. No, no, people aren't buying them. I'm sorry. If speed is that much of an issue, it's really not. Like they've done tests like with Mario Kart, for example, and is it slower? Yes, it's slower, but like a second, maybe two. And you know what? Yes, that does add up after a while. Then just get the digital version because that's all you're getting with the key card anyway.
And we got some more Kirby Air Riders 2 information coming on October 23rd, starting at 6 a.m. Pacific time and 9 a.m. Eastern time. Sakurai is going to be back with his second Kirby Air Riders 2 Direct, telling us more about his beloved Air Riders 2.
And if you need some games to play before Halloween, Nintendo released a Screaming Deals advert for upcoming games that are on sale to save up to 50% off on select digital games. So you can check out great games like the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim and like Hello Kitty, and along with even one of my personal favorites, Animal Well, which is a Metroidvania game.
And speaking of updates, the NSO SNES app was finally updated again with 3 new games. We got Bubsy in Claw's Encounter of the Third Kind, which is a really odd choice considering there's a Bubsy collection that just came out or is just about to come out. But yeah, Bubsy, that's there. But Fatal Fury Special is there, which is a really good fighting game and a great port. And most importantly, Mario and Wario is released outside of Japan for the first time ever, and you can use the mouse. If you're playing on the Switch too, you can use mouse controls. You can also, I believe, plug in a mouse to the USB and play that way.
Interesting. I have not booted up Nintendo Switch Online in a while. This might be a reason why to do it, because of course I've never played this game. So, Greg, what do you think about
Also made by
these?
Game Freak too.
What's that?
It was also made by Game Freak, if you didn't know.
Oh,
So it's just
it
interesting.
kind of looks like their stuff. That makes a lot of sense. That doesn't surprise me that you said that. I'll say that. I didn't realize it was Game Freak though. So Greg, what do you think about these headlines? Kind of all over the place with lots of different news this week. So what stands out to you?
Well, yeah, the Nintendo Music app stuff, I didn't really check out those soundtracks quite yet, but I'm sure I'll be coming into those in the months after this, as I usually just kind of do like the top picks and just kind of like do like a randomization at times. So like occasionally soundtracks from these or like specific tracks from these games will come in like the random playlist that I play. So be sure to get around to listen to them at some point. The Alarmo getting an update, it was great to see the more alarm settings you can pick and everything. So it's great to see us get some Kirby love there. Um, Definitely was eating my words as I was very defiant that it was not Pikmin in the last podcast. So I'm happy to admit that I was very wrong about that. So I feel like they purposely designed the baby to look like Rosalina to purposely be a distractor. So um,
It was their fault you
I,
were wrong.
That's right.
I mean, I was thinking if it was Pikmin that you'd actually like see like something that would resemble Pikmin, but they
We
like
did. We
purposely
pointed it out.
deleted it though.
But underneath
Yeah,
the crib,
that could have been like an Easter egg for all you know. I mean, like you could they throw Easter eggs in the Mario movie and stuff all the time. So
It still makes no sense that it is Pikmin. Like at this point, like the mom doesn't react at all, but they don't see she sees it. But why is the pacifier in the thing? She doesn't care. She's just going on and she's glad her baby is walking, which yes is probably the more important thing. But it
yeah,
doesn't. It still makes no sense, even though we know that it's Pikmin.
but I'm not like trying to deny I was wrong. It just was very obviously misleading on purpose. But yeah, I did see the information on the game key card things. That's very interesting kind of point of like perspective. But um, I would kind of counter Barry's point if you just buy digitally, then you can't actually like trade it or like sell it if you don't like the game. So then it's permanently yours if you buy the game fully digitally and not the key card version. But
That's actually what
I don't
won
know.
me over and made me go physical on Pokemon. It's like just in case I don't want to keep it, I can get rid of this.
well, that's where demos come into play. And in a case like this, it is an older game, so there's enough gameplay videos and stuff you could watch because it came out like what 4 or 5 years ago on the PS4 or something like that.
It's true.
But yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't see the Mario Kart thing that you referenced, but that's a very interesting perspective on that because that's one that can be tested and compared. But it's also Nintendo's Ace compression team to make it basically 1-to-1 or pretty close to 1-to-1. But
Yeah, they
um,
tested it. The fastest time was on the internal memory that you get. The next fastest time was on one of the Nintendo branded SD cards. Then was the 1 terabyte Lexor card that many of us got, and then finally the physical. But by faster, it's like 1 second, 1.15, 1.5, and 1.8 or 2 or something like it's really not that big of a difference to preserve the game and have the full game physical
Yeah.
and not have your memory taken up. Because Final Fantasy 7 is like 90 gig or something like that, or like
Yeah.
it's a big, big game.
Yeah. I do get
Yeah.
what you're saying though, Greg, because I think I don't know if it's like we need to see what those loading times and other things are compared when we get a third party game, because Nintendo knows how to optimize their own hardware, and so it's not going to be it's apples to oranges in a way, I think, is what you're kind of getting at as well. We need to be able to see what third
Yep.
party does and what the differences are there, because we know Nintendo can optimize the crap out of that thing.
Yeah, I think Cyberpunk 2099 would be a little bit better of a test for that, but maybe
Mhm.
they also know how to compress it as well too. I don't know, but yeah, I guess moving on, but the Kirby Air Riders thing, I'll be sure to be checking that out Wednesday morning here, so that should be pretty exciting to see. Not quite sure what else they could really add in that they haven't announced already, but I guess that's why there's another direct. The Screaming Deals, I was taking a peek through them, and it didn't seem like anything was jumping out to actually pick up from this particular sale, but it's still great that they're hosting it for anyone that is interested in any of these great games. And then the NSO update, like Steve, I'll probably need to be sure to check those out. I haven't really updated my app in quite some time, so it does seem kind of interesting to see if there's another Japanese original only release, and wonder if they actually bother to do the translation, or if it's just going to be a hot mess to see if it is just basically available in our app and just fully Japanese.
It has more English. I think it's very little Japanese. It's mostly already in English. So yeah, they didn't do anything to it. It's just mainly in English already, which
Hmm.
is even more confusing that it never came over here.
That's weird. They were holding back just to this day, just to bring it to Switch eventually. That's what they were doing.
Guess it's another one of those Star Fox 2 situations where the game was basically already fully done, and then they just like, nah, let's not release this. And then we got that whatever 25 years later or whatever.
That was because of Star Fox 64. They felt people were too stupid and it would confuse people. And let's just shelve an entirely full finished game.
Well, those of us in America kind of are sometimes, so I understand.
And then poor Argonaut, then they denied their Yoshi game.
Yeah. Now at least they're not following the Microsoft naming conventions, because it would have been Star Fox, then Star Fox 64, then Star Fox 2. So then they
I
know
guess
how to
Star Fox
count.
Zero.
So like,
Two came out would have come out first. Two was done before 64.
yeah.
Yeah, we're all over the place with those. Barry, what stands out to these from these headlines?
Great to see more Nintendo music. I still haven't used the app really. While I haven't done anything with the Alarmo, it's still sitting in the box. Um, for when my son does get it, I'm glad that Kirby gets some representation because not only do I love Kirby, but I feel like Kirby's one of those that the kids can easily gravitate towards. It's a little on the simpler side. So even if he doesn't play this game first, he starts with like Adventure, Dreamland, or Dreamland stuff like that. At least it'll be the character he'll recognize, and it'll be like, oh, Nick Kirby. So I haven't pulled it out to even update it, but I will before he gets it. We talked about it being Pikmin for Close to You, and sure enough, it was. Like you, I don't know what the purpose of it was. If it was just to, to have fun, but great, got people talking.
Yep.
Game Awards, December 11th. I'll be watching. I think most of us will be watching. Will be hopefully a good show. We shall see. It's going to be a little more interesting because I think it's always a Thursday, right? December 11th is a Thursday.
Think so.
Let's see, December 11th. Yeah, Thursday. I always do Thursday, and that's when my wife does bowling, so I'm alone with the kid.
Hmm.
Which 2 years ago he was just lying there, and then last year he was a little more rambunctious because he was moving around and crawling, and this year he's full on teenager, so who knows what I'll be dealing
He'll be
with
watching
while
right
I try to.
along as The Last of Us gets another award.
He might, I hope he does. Maybe he'll sit there and just watch. Who knows? Or he'll sit there and play with his cards.
Although there's
Um,
usually probably some not so great things for him to watch at the Game Awards.
when he was like baby, I would put him in. We have a like video of him like sitting in his little, bucket seat that they have while I was doing Mortal Kombat 11, and like Mortal Kombat 1, sorry, Mortal Kombat 1, and like doing the fatalities right in front of him,
Nice.
and he was
That
like,
was his
"Yeah,
first word, wasn't it? Fatality.
that would have been cool."
Get over
No,
here.
Pretty sure it was Toasty.
oh man, he just left the company
Finish
too.
him.
Toasty guy left the company.
Oh,
But yeah, as for the key cards, look, I mean, first off, if they could put it all on a card, it would run fine. It would load fine. Like you can't even put it on the fastest. The fastest is internal memory. That game can't go on your internal memory. It doesn't
mhm,
matter. It's just too big. So you're going to either put it on a smaller Nintendo branded card or a larger third party card. So there's not going to be much comparison of loading. And even if it was a minute extra loading, which is whatever, I think people would still flock to buy it to get it physical and own it, and then like Greg, trade it or sell it if you wanted to, or keep it and have it, and then have that 90 gig or whatever on your safe from your storage. Because even with the 1 terabyte, that you're looking at almost a tenth of it in one shot.
yeah,
Like that's one game.
true.
So I think it appeases developers who just don't think about that, and I think that's the problem. I think a lot of people in the industry don't think about that or care about like the physical aspect and the preservation. They just, I mean, look how many generations ago games came out and they were virtually finished. And then with updates being applied, now games are let's rush it out and then we could always worry about patching it later. And we
Yeah,
see that so many times. So the mentality has shifted in the industry and it
totally.
sucks.
Well, and they're
And I
they're also coming at this from, like we've talked about before on previous episodes, like Xbox and PlayStation have been living in a similar world for a while with installation. Like it's not the keycard situation, but they're used to their game being installed on on an external hard drive or the existing hard drive of a system already. And so for them, it's just like, oh, you're downloading instead of installing it. Probably no big deal in their mind, but in the
yeah.
mind of a collector is like that's different.
Mind of
But in their
anybody,
mind,
and
eh,
if
it's
you
the
if you
same.
if you have knowledge. I mean, look, if anything, we just had yesterday, right? The Amazon
Hmm.
web services went
When
down.
everything shut down, yeah.
When everything shut down. Like there were even like some single player games where you couldn't even connect to the servers that they required to play single player. Like
Yeah.
that should be a wake up call for everybody. That's the difference. If you had a PlayStation 5 disc or an Xbox disc and you put it in at that time, you could
Yeah.
install and play the game. But if you needed to download first and you couldn't connect, and Nintendo is down too, by the way. It was one of the ones down.
Oh, really? I didn't notice
But
that.
I saw some people complain about it. Um, then yeah, then you couldn't install. So that game key card is useless. And if you live in an area, I don't know where you live, but if you live in an area where you have good internet, you have to consider yourself lucky. You have to realize you are not the majority. You're actually more towards a minority even in this country. There are places where you can't get fiber optic, where you can't get cable, where you have to use satellite or dial up still
Mhm.
in 2025 because not everybody, can have that. So
Hmm.
if you have a game 90 gig that takes, maybe it takes, you know, 20, 30 minutes to download, which is still an inconvenience. It may take them 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, depending on where they are.
Yeah.
That's a big time, and if you're installing, it doesn't matter what internet you have, it's whatever the drive or the switch, the card, reader inside
Hmm.
the switch would read at, that's the speed that would determine your installation.
Yeah.
So, there is a big difference, and a lot of people, you're right, they don't care. People don't
Hmm.
care. People want A, instant gratification, and B, once they're done with something, we've become a society where we just throw it out. We don't preserve, we don't care, we just whatever, it's dead to me now. Moving on. And that's terrible because
Hmm.
there's a lot of great stuff that just gets tossed aside with that mentality and other people can enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I think, yeah, bringing up the internet speeds is huge. And we've had previous conversations when it seemed like a lot of them were going with the cloud versions of these different games. And like that's leaving out a significant amount of the majority of the population of the world that doesn't have that kind of speeds to be able to play a game in the cloud. And so like I think it's a similar, not exactly the same, but it's a similar kind of argument there, because they're going to have to wait for forever to download that much of a game.
And here's another factor. Nobody said that they couldn't produce a game full on cart and a key card. Like
That's
people
also
always
true.
go with
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
or the other, and that's not true. You can have both.
Yeah.
If Nintendo had a big, let's say they have 100, gigabyte card, Square could say, "All right, let's do pre-orders for both and go off those numbers." And when it's time to start printing, because you do the pre-orders early in advance or as early as possible, you look at what it's going and you gauge and you estimate and you say, "Okay, even if game key cards is winning." Let's say key cards is winning. They say we need to order 1 million game key cards and 30,000 of the physical. Even that's 30,000 sales you just made. And you know what? If you want to charge more because it's going to cost more, the people who want it will pay it. You know what? Now you made everybody happy.
We don't
Oh,
like giving people options though,
what's the
Barry.
harm of making everybody happy? Nothing. Then more people will support you. But when you piss people off, you know what they do? They don't buy your product. So I
Yeah.
don't get it.
It is
It's
funny to walk through stores and like all the games that are fully on cart are sold out, and everything that's just left on the shelves are all game key card, game key card, game key card.
Yeah, because if
Yeah.
at that point, even myself, like if I had the choice, well, I do have the choice. If there's a game that's on game key card and I want to play it, I will just buy the digital. I like games like AI, the No Sleep for
Oh yeah.
Konami Date. It came out for Switch and Switch 2, and Switch 2 was a key card. So I got the physical Switch, which didn't arrive in time, and I bought the digital on Switch 2, and that's the version I played. With
Hmm.
Shadow Labyrinth, the Switch 2 version was a game key card. The Switch 1 version was physical. So I took the Switch 1 version, popped it in my Switch, downloaded the Switch 2 update for free, and played the Switch 2 version off the Switch 1 card. There I
There you
go.
go. Yep.
So so there are workarounds as long as there's Switch and Switch 2 versions at the moment. But when the game is only on the Switch 2 and that's the only option, then yeah, I will. As a physical collector as I am, I will buy the digital over a game key card
Yeah.
because at least with the digital in that sense, you know, I can't turn it away. But then at least the point of going digital is for the convenience of not having to switch cartridges.
Yep.
So I do it for that convenience,
Yep.
and it would just piss me off seeing it on my store
Yeah.
shelf.
Aren't you glad
If
he didn't
someone
go
gives
for a Switch 2 full collection?
no, no. Well, I've been debating if I'm gonna do it because
Yeah.
it's really small, because I'm not
For
going
now.
for game key cards.
Oh,
Well, yeah,
just the collection of only on cart.
only on cart, so it's
Okay.
small.
Yeah.
But if someone were to like, "Here's a game key card, do you want it? Will I keep it?" Sure. But
Sure.
they're not gonna get a dime from me.
Yeah.
Unless someone's selling it for 10 cents, okay? I will admit I will buy it for 10
10
cents.
cents.
10 cents. You
That's where
got
you
me.
draw
That's
the
my
line.
limit. That's where I draw the line.
11,
I'll
11
I'll
cents is too much. He turns it
yep.
away.
It's gotta be a dime. I don't carry a penny, so it's gotta be a dime. Anyways,
Pennies
back on
don't.
track. Or pennies.
Yeah.
Just to quickly touch up on the last few things. Looking forward to the Kirby Air Riders Direct. I don't know what they have left to talk about other than new amiibo because they did say more amiibo would be announced. But I don't know what else is in the game. They already sold the game as far as I'm concerned. They talked a lot about it, so
Hmm.
I guess we'll see. Looking forward to that. The Screaming Deals. There were a couple things I'm gonna be picking up. Happy to see one of the things I get is I like pinball, so I get like the Zen pinball, because there's no physical of it anyways, and there's all
Hmm.
different tables. Some of like the Halloween ones went on sale because I'll only buy a table when it's on sale because it's like, here, you want a table for $10? No, but I'll take it for two.
Yeah.
You know? So I get a couple of those. And then the SNES updates, I'm glad to see. Always glad to see new games. Always glad to see games that we never got here that we can experience. I'm
Hmm.
just waiting for the update that says Super Soccer is back. Not because I want to play it, but because I don't want any games to disappear from NSO. I want it to be a perpetually growing permanent library that people can enjoy, as opposed to a Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever rotating door, or Game Pass as well, where every month you get new games or shows, but you also lose stuff. I want to
Yeah.
just keep gaining, no losing.
Yeah. I'm glad the NSO isn't sitting on a AWS server, or
Yeah.
maybe it was. I don't know. Just quickly for me, that's cool with Nintendo Music app. I love that it's still growing. I'm with you, Barry. I don't listen to it very much at all, but it's cool to see all this stuff added in because it's great music. Alarmo doesn't matter to me because I don't even have one, but cool. I'm glad it keeps getting updates. The close to you thing is, I'm still just confused by the thing itself, but I will say that Nintendo Animated Studio did a fantastic job. That was a very, very well animated short. I don't understand it, but it was well done. Uh, yeah, Game Awards. I'll be watching along. We'll see how many awards that these games that have been out for 10 years still get. And Final Fantasy, all that stuff. Yeah, I think we've said all of our piece as far as game key cards. I have nothing else to add that we haven't said yet. Kirby Air Riders, I am not excited about. Like it doesn't matter to me. So I'll probably catch the news. I'm gonna be. I've got something else at the same time as the direct, so I'll watch some highlights or maybe watch it later. But yeah, not for me, and that's okay. Um, and then yeah, I'll check out the Screaming Deals. I've just briefly looked at them, but I'll have to look through them. And NSO stuff, that's cool. I love that it keeps growing, and I'm looking forward to playing Mario and Wario for the very first time. Going to the chat, looks like Oki Reps was just curious if anyone's eShop wish list was missing some games. He said he's missing 85 to 90% of his wish list. I've not checked mine out. I know you said, Barry, in the chat that yours is all set and it's all intact, but yeah, I've not checked mine out. I wonder if that has something to do with the server issues or anything like that. But Greg, have you checked your wish list recently? Do you know?
I haven't, but I think there's only like a handful of games on mine because I don't really tend to use that feature a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I only
I don't.
have
Yeah.
maybe 3 or 4 games in it, if that.
Yeah. My only thing would my only thing would be if it's like so many, like 100 some games that maybe it's having trouble trying to load all of them or something. I
That's
have no
true.
idea,
Yeah, Oki,
but
how many games do you typically have in your wish list? If it's
because
a
if it
lot, then I wonder if that has something to do with it.
For me, like 300 something.
You have 300 something in your wish list, Barry?
Yep.
Dang.
Because there's a
Okay,
lot of
well,
games where, you know what it is when you have a collection like mine, it's like game prices have gone up because a lot of the stuff I have is like limited print or small print. So games, have shot 60, 70, $80. And then I'm like, I'll put it on my wish list if it's something I want to play. And like when I see it go on sale for like 2.99, I'm like,
mm,
it's cheaper for me to pay an extra 2.99 and play that and keep my physical sealed
mm,
than to open it because I'm actually losing that much value at that
sure.
point.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
only will get it when it's like super, super
Yeah.
cheap like
So
that.
you get alerts when they're on sale, right? Is that how it usually works?
Occasionally, I'll get an email that says like, "Good news, one or more of your Switch is on wish list items is on sale."
Okay.
However, on the Switch 2 versus the Switch 1 won't tell you, but the Switch 2, if you go to your wish list on the which is like on the left column now, and just like highlight it, it'll give you a red box underneath that will say how many is on sale,
Oh.
and then in the wish list itself, only on the Switch 2, you can click a box on top that says "Show me like only this one's on sale."
Oh.
And then it'll just filter so you just see which ones are on sale and are currently in your wish list. Switch 1 doesn't do that. They never updated the Switch 1 shop to do it, but the Switch 2 shop does have that.
Nintendo, every once in a while Nintendo makes some smart decisions. Well done. That Switch 2 eShop is a significant upgrade for sure.
It's night and day.
Yeah.
without a
Wow.
doubt, I mean the speed alone is
Yeah.
justifiable.
Yeah.
Yep.
However, there are also some things that are missing from the Switch 2 eShop. Like if you click on a game and it has, let's say, 6 DLC that you want to get, with the Switch 1, you can click, it'll show you like 3 of the DLC and then it'll say like view all. and you click view all, and it'll list them with little check boxes, and you can check like all 6 if you want, and then click add to cart and purchase all 6 at once. But with the Switch 2, you can't do that. You got to buy them all individually. They did not carry over that feature for whatever reason,
Interesting.
which is pretty dumb because it's a good feature if a game has a lot of individual DLC.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, let's step into our main discussion for this episode, and we're going to be talking some Nintendo sales numbers. And we got these from Matt Piscatella, and he's the senior director and video games industry thought leader at Circana, I believe is how you pronounce that, formerly of Activision and Warner Brother Games. So he's very familiar with all of this. And he posted a big rundown of all the different video game sales numbers from through August 2025. And so we don't, typically if you guys are following the industry, we know that we don't really get September numbers at the end of September. We don't get October numbers, at the end of October. We are usually a couple months behind. So that's why we're talking August, numbers through August here in the middle of October or near the end of October. But yes, I just want to run through some of these. If you're watching the video version, you'll see me kind of scrolling these. He posted these on Blue Sky, so we'll have all that running on the screen as you can kind of follow along, and just want to highlight some different things and have some discussion around it. So one of the things that he said in August of 2025 that NBA 2K26 mobile and Nintendo Switch 2 drove 11% spending growth in August when compared to a year ago. So that seems to be pretty consistent along down the lines that we have considerable amount of sales in 2025 compared to the year before. So the release of NBA 2K26 in the August tracking month compared to September a year ago is a 6% increase in mobile video game spending. And the continued strong Nintendo Switch 2 launch also fueled some August growth as well. So as we look at like the numbers, the projected numbers for the next like 13 months, it definitely seems like we're on an upward trend year over year with video game sales, which is interesting because we're also, we talk about all these studios that are closing and video games that are not making as much money as they used to, and yet we seem to be at least year over year and compared to the what's been happening, it seems like sales are heading in the right direction. Is it good enough? I don't know. I'm not much as much of an analyst, but it seems like it's interesting because all these things are happening, and yet we're still selling more video games than we have before.
Oh,
So, Greg, what do you think about this?
hold on. Before Greg goes, I
Oh,
just have a
sure.
breaking news.
Oh,
Breaking news.
okay.
Literally 30 seconds ago.
Breaking
Luigi's
news.
Mansion is going to Nintendo GameCube Classics on October 30th at NSO.
Ooh. All
So
right.
that just happened right now. So if you're watching
Luigi's
this live,
Mansion.
October 30th, GameCube.
Nice.
Sorry,
I
didn't mean to
never
interrupt.
beat
I
it,
want to be
so that's
breaking.
great. I can get back into it again.
That means no Switch remake.
Maybe. I mean, have they done that before? I don't know.
I guess it
Yeah.
just ultimately depends. I don't know if Nintendo puts their own remakes on there, but I feel like like the Turok stuff is being re-released as a bundle or whatever, and and those
true.
were all like individually remastered. But I
Good
guess it
point.
kind of depends per publisher, I guess.
Yeah. I would assume the original Luigi's Mansion wouldn't be remade. It's kind of,
Well, it
I don't
got a
know.
3DS remake.
Yeah, maybe they'll bring that over. But I guess it's not. I mean, it's remade, but it was also like on 3DS. So I don't know. It's not the same as like making it 4K. No.
True.
So yeah, Greg, what do you think about the sales numbers? At least what we've talked about so far. Maybe some other things. This can be kind of more of a fluid discussion because there's so much here. We're not going to be able to get through all of it. But especially just kind of year over year, what we're seeing, sales numbers seem to increase. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the video game industry has just been obviously pretty much just growing a lot. I mean, I guess it still shows that the Switch like 2 and like mobile versions are still kind of going somewhat strong. So I guess that's good news there. So it's great to still see that some games are still getting lots of copies sold and probably rightfully so for a number of them. And then other ones are probably head scratchers, like why are people still buying like the next iteration of this when there was a perfectly good one last year? But I mean, it's just obviously great for the industry overall, at least that there's still games that are selling well, because otherwise, then the games will be stop being made.
Hmm. Yeah, Barry, what do you think?
I think it's always good to see the industry being healthy, and I'm not saying as that from somebody who works in the industry,
Hmm.
but it's just great even as a hobbyist, you want what you enjoy to keep going. And that's not to say that the industry is perfect because it's far from perfect. There are a lot of issues and a lot of problems. Uh, it's nice to see games doing exceptionally well and driving the industry. What's sad is that we see the same games constantly driving the industry. Just
Mm.
looking at the top of the list, you got NBA, you got Madden, you know, EA Sports College Football, and MVP, EA Sports MVP bundle. You're seeing games up there that the majority of people, not everybody, but the majority of people that are buying those games are mainly only buying those games. That doesn't help the indies. That doesn't help the small developers get noticed or get pushed.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and there's nothing wrong with somebody who I only play FIFA, I only play Madden, I only play, MLB The Show, you know, I only play Call of Duty, the big games that are released, yearly or almost every year. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not driving the industry. That's driving those games. That's driving the publishers and developers of those games to keep producing those games. But that's not helping everybody else. And in fact, it kind of swallows and overshadows everybody else when you look at the list and you see Minecraft is still up there. It's Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto 5. How many years has that been
Yeah.
been out? And that's still up there. You know, WWE 2K5, another annual. Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, got to give it to the new Harvest Moon game getting up
Mm-hmm.
there in number 19. Go Marvelous. But you're looking at everybody else that's on the list. You Red Dead Redemption, you got Take Two, which is Rockstar. That's going to be up there. You've got Helldivers is Sony. Demon Slayer's up there. That's Sega. Hogwarts Legacy. It's a big property.
Mm-hmm.
Again, all this stuff. These are all giants. These are all giants for the most part. Even Grounded 2, which is a newer IP, it's still Microsoft. You have Microsoft money thrown behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's where you have to look at the what looks great on a graph and the true health of the industry.
Sure.
Microsoft is going and saying, look at our games, they're selling really well while they're laying off other people and workers. And you have to question if the game is selling well, like High on Life did really well, and then they closed down the studio. Like, wait a minute. If a game does, why are you closing down the studio? Why are you firing people? You should be giving bonuses and encouraging them to keep, working on it. So, and as great as that sounds on paper and as looks on a graph and sounds to the investors are very happy. Um, in the grand scheme of things, it's not necessarily the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like Disney did that for a little while too. It's like, well, Epic Mickey came out, and then it's like, okay, let's fire the team, and like
Yeah.
then let's assemble a new team for any other game that they another studio in general, and just complete like create an entirely different studio. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's also part of the problem too.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it's about, when a lot of the stuff gets driven by bonuses and Metacritics, they'll tell the developers, we'll pay you X for this game, you know. But if the game gets so many 90 pluses, it has a 90 plus on Metacritic, we're going to give you bonus money, which is encouragement to get the developers to make a better game. That's fine. But what happens is once a developer does that, you know what they expect? They expect that level of pay again because they're worth that level of pay. these companies will look and go, well, I can fire that talented person, pull in somebody from college that's hungry. They could do a decent enough job. The sequel will sell based on name alone. Even if it's not a 90 anymore, it's a 70. We're still going to make money, and I'll be able to pocket more money. Let's do that. And exactly what happened with Epic Mickey. Look at the score for Epic Mickey and Epic Mickey 2.
Mhm.
It's exactly what happens, sadly.
Yeah. I think what's also interesting to me as I'm looking through these, both the August numbers and the year-to-date numbers that we've had on the screen, if you're watching the video version, they don't include digital sales from Nintendo platforms. I don't know, they just don't have those numbers. Also, Xbox, I guess, digital sales are not included as well. So these are not the full picture of what's actually happening. It's what they're able to get. But it's interesting, especially in what we were talking about just earlier. Like I could almost guess more people are going digital for Switch 2 games because of the game keycard situation. And so we're not going to see those numbers. And so maybe some other games are selling really well on Nintendo, but we don't even know what those numbers are because they're on the eShop. So take all of this, what we're showing you and what this whole post and everything with a little bit of a grain of salt because it's not the full picture, I guess.
Yeah. And again, even if looking at the list, I mean, every one of those titles pretty much is either yearly or a long
Mm-hmm.
running franchise.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Kingdom Come might be newest, but
Yeah. I
every
mean,
other one is.
that's,
Well,
yeah.
Split Fiction is
Out of the,
new.
out of the top 10, you're really seeing, Kingdom Come is probably the only one that's not a substantial IP that's been around for a long time. I mean,
And
Elder
then
Scrolls, Elden Ring, Monster Hunter, and their Call of Duty, all those
yeah,
are
you could
big.
say like, well, that's an Elden Ring DLC, or that's the new game from Elden Ring, which is also banking off of the legacy of Dark Souls and Bloodborne and stuff like
Sure,
that, and Demon Souls. Even number 11, you have Split Fiction, which is a brand new game, but it's banking off the legacy of It Takes Two and Brothers and A Way Out.
sure.
So you still have that pedigree. But every other one, look at that. You got Forza Horizon, NBA, Minecraft, Civilization 7, Grand Theft Auto, PGA Tour, Doom, The Dark Ages,
Yep.
the EA Sports FC. It's all either yearly or long running franchises.
Yep.
There's nothing really like breaking ground and getting in there. Like Minecraft when it first came out did that kind of thing. But we really haven't seen another brand new hit that level since. I mean, Roblox is doing well, and Fortnite, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but those are like the exception, not the rule. If you look,
Yep.
especially if you look at how many games come out every week, which we talk about at the end of every podcast,
Yep.
there's like 1,000 shots up into the air, and maybe if you're lucky, one of them will hit the target.
Yep. Yep. Well, let's move into hardware because Matt also has some numbers that he reported on hardware. Monthly hardware spending, he says, increased by 32% when compared to a year ago, up to $312 million. The Switch 2 sales were able to offset double-digit percentage declines across each of PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and Switch. So one new console from Nintendo was able to offset double-digit percentage declines. That's right. If you take the Switch 2 out of the equation, we had double-digit declines, and yet when you add the Switch 2 into it, the sales were up by 32%. That's substantial. So hardware sales for the Switch 2 seem to be really strong, with over 2.4 million units sold over its first 3 months on the market. The Switch 2 is now at 5% ahead. Matt reports of the previous record-setting pace of the PlayStation 4, which sold 2.2 million during the first 3 months ending in January 2014. And then he also mentioned that the Switch 2 unit sales are trending 77% ahead ahead the time aligned sales of the Nintendo Switch original. And so 77% ahead of the Switch 1, which was already a substantial selling. And year to date, the video game hardware spending has grown 20% versus a year ago, reaching $2.9 billion with a B. And unit sales are up 6.5% year on year, with an average selling price increasing by 12.3% to $453 per unit sold. So we do know that prices went up, so that's going to account for a little bit of that. But what do you guys think about these Switch 2 numbers and how they're driving the video game hardware sales right now? Barry, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's great because obviously the industry needs it. It's like an injection, and it's also kind of misleading
Mhm.
because the Switch 2 was bound to sell to people like us. It was bound to sell to people who really love Nintendo platforms. It's bound to sell to people who really want the new Mario Kart or want to be there on the ground floor, ready to go at the start of a generation, a console and all that. The casuals, they're gonna wait. They're gonna. Oh, I can still play on the Switch. How many how many games do you still? I'm still playing Switch One games. You're still playing Switch One games. There's still so many Switch One games and other platforms as well. The double-digit losses make sense in terms of percentages for the other platforms. PS5 came out 5 years ago. Xbox Series was 5 years ago. Switch was 8 years ago. So it makes sense that they're only going to be slowly decreasing. I'm sure the fact that all three platforms raised price aren't helping at all,
Yeah.
because that's definitely not what you expect at this stage of the game. I know some people have said like, oh look, you can still see Switch 2s in stock. It's not doing that well. That's because Nintendo was made sure to stock up and produce enough. Unlike if you remember when the Switch 1 came out, you couldn't get it because
Mhm.
they didn't produce enough. Now they made sure there was enough. Um, what will be really telling will be a year from now or 2 years from now when you could say, how well is the Switch 2 continuing to do?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the
Because
good
even the
thing
Virtual Boy sold a million copies or a million units,
that's true.
early on.
Yeah. But it is trending much faster. I mean, surpassing the PlayStation 4 did, which we know
Yeah,
was very very fast
it was a
selling. So,
beast.
yeah, we do have a lot of the early adopters, are Nintendo hardcore that are going to buy this, but it seems to be going beyond that because we are on pace to surpass all these things, and they have surpassed
Oh,
some
one
of
of the
those numbers
reasons for
already.
that too, which people aren't talking about, is the Switch 2 is getting some of those games we talked about just earlier.
Mhm.
Madden is on the Switch too. It was
Yep.
never on the Switch. Call of Duty is supposedly coming to the Switch too. You're getting a better version of FIFA on the Switch too. You're going to get a better version of the show next year on the Switch too. So for those that enjoyed the Switch and wrestling too, I mean, God, WW
Mhm.
2K18 was such a travesty on the Switch. They never put another one on there.
Yeah.
So with that being a factor, you're getting those people say, well, I love playing Madden. Yeah, I play it on PS5 all the time, but maybe I want to travel a bit. Well, now
Yeah.
I can do that with the Switch or the Switch
Mhm.
2. So you're going to get those people to buy in. You're
Mhm.
also getting people who are wanting to play their Switch 1 games better. There's a lot of Switch 1 games that suffered from slower frame rates or hiccups, even Nintendo's own games, and that run much better, significantly better on the Switch 2. People are, yeah, I've still got a huge Switch library. I'm buying the Switch 2 just to play that library better. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Greg, what's your thoughts on Switch numbers so far?
I really feel like the price increases actually made a lot bigger difference. I don't think it was a tiny factor. I think that kind of pretty much wrecked the pace for the competition. Like even
Mm.
the older Switch console like went up in price, so that's even kind of helped tank those sales down a little bit. And it was like the Switch 2 was the only one that didn't have a price adjustment for like that month. I believe the first I thought it was like the first few days of August is when all those went into effect. And I would think if you were gonna be buying those after knowing that they were going up, you would have done it in July or June or whatever, and it'd be kind of interesting to have those for a comparison, like with the August numbers. But I think I kind of think that that's why the Switch 2 was the main outlier there because it's like, would I want to spend whatever $400 on the OLED Switch, or do I want to spend 450 and get the Switch 2? And it's like, well, it
Mhm.
kind of makes no sense to buy the older Switch, even though it has an excellent library of games, but just add a little bit more, you get the better like frame rates and better graphics and everything like that, even if the games are a little bit more expensive or have the updates. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of feel like the price increase made a much bigger factor for at least this month of data. But
sure.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
it definitely
Maybe
could have.
yeah. I mean, maybe it didn't, but at least in my opinion, I feel like it probably had a major factor in this because I feel like there's a lot of doom and gloom even around the Switch 2, and people like are all the vocal people are complaining about stuff still with like the expensive games and all the key card stuff and trying to put Nintendo down and everything like that. So I think it's pretty cool to still see that the system is selling really well, and as Barry said, they're still constantly producing. Just because you're seeing like whatever 5 units in your local Target doesn't mean that they didn't sell those like 5 units the day before. Those are just more they already have ready in stock because Nintendo's been on top of the supply. So
Yeah. Let's look at Nintendo's best-selling games for August 2025, and we've got. This doesn't really surprise me a whole lot, except for there's a couple things that I was like, oh, that's interesting. Donkey Kong Bonanza, of course, at the top of the list. Madden. People are excited to finally play Madden on a Nintendo system again. Story of Seasons at number 3. Mario Kart Party Jamboree is in there. Hogwarts
Mario
Legacy.
Kart Party?
Is that what I
That
said?
sounds like yeah.
Take 2. Super Mario Party Jamboree is at number 4. Hogwarts Legacy at number 5. Kirby and the Forgotten Land at number 6. Mario Kart 8 at number 7. Is that surprising? It's still selling. Not Mario
Wait,
Kart. Not Mario Kart.
is that 8
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Wii U 8?
That's exactly what that is. I don't know if that's a typo or not. However, that is
That has to
exactly
be a
what that
typo.
says.
There's no way.
it has
There's
to
no way
be.
Mario Kart 8 on Wii
You
U.
would think.
That has to be a
Uh,
typo.
Minecraft out there, and then the 2 Legend of Zelda games, Tears of the Kingdom over Breath of the Wild. But those were top games for August, at least on Nintendo systems. Again, digital sales are not included for a lot of those titles, so take all that with a grain of salt because we have no idea how that will skew everything. Um, for Donkey Kong Bonanza, we know that it would just go higher for the including the digital sales, but maybe the whole Mario Kart Super Mario Party thing that I butchered earlier, maybe that'd be higher. I don't know. Let's
But you notice something with those numbers though, right? Or with those games.
what's that?
If you look at the list, all the ones from Nintendo outside of Mario Kart 8 were either brand new, like Donkey Kong Bonanza, or got obviously physical, but they're Nintendo Switch 2 editions that are complete on cartridge. Mario Party Jamboree, Kirby Forgotten Land, both Zelda games, they all had that.
Yeah.
Madden is just a beast in that sense, but Story of Seasons is one of the few third-party games that is complete on cartridge. So it's not a game key card. And look
Yep.
how high it is. Hogwarts Legacy and Minecraft are the only other two there, which Minecraft I don't think is even physical on Switch. Like there is no physical. Oh, and Switch 2, there's no physical as far as
Yeah.
I'm aware. But Hogwarts Legacy is a game key card. But again, that has the property of Harry Potter. But that's
Yep.
telling. How many? Even Cyberpunk didn't break it, and Cyberpunk is complete on cartridge in August. Like
Mm-hmm.
all those game key cards, none of them really like scratch
Right.
the surface of it. It's all Nintendo first party or Story of Seasons, or in a case like Madden, which does have a game key card. It's just Madden.
It's
People
just a
just are
juggernaut.
so happy to play it on
Yep.
Switch too.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I think at least for Hogwarts Legacy specifically, is I believe that there I don't know if it's like a glitch or was intended, but if you have the Switch 1 version, you can actually like download the Switch 2 version completely or whatever, and then like it
Oh,
gives you like the full game for whatever the price of the Switch 1 cartridge. So like
that
I
would
know
be a
that's
reason.
because like you could buy like yeah, you could buy like the Switch 1 physical version, and then like when you do the update patch, it basically just downloads the entire game 100% for free for Switch 2. Like I don't know if that was like some type of glitch or whatever, but I know that's been circulating around like Facebook communities that I'm in. Like it's
Nice. That
See?
so I
that would drive sales.
Another reason to go physical.
Nice. Let's move in just a little along. I know we have accessories in here as well that he reported on. The Switch 2 Pro controller was the best-selling accessory um, for August and 2025 year to date. So that doesn't
It's
surprise
awesome.
me. It's
It's
a
so
great
good.
controller for sure.
should be there.
Yeah, and yeah, he also reports on the best-selling title charts for digital data sharing publishers. Again, which is hard to tell because you don't have a lot of the Nintendo numbers in here as well. So I think all of that can be taken with a grain of salt. But yeah, that's pretty much brings us to the end of the data itself. What do we think? What does this do for the industry? Are we excited about the future because of this? Are we still a little skeptical? I mean, there's been some crazy stuff happening. We mentioned the price increases with different consoles and things, even like almost quote unquote legacy consoles. They're not modern consoles anymore that are going up in price like Switch. And people are still getting laid off in the industry like crazy, and studios are closing and all that stuff. But numbers, at least for sales, look pretty good. So, Greg, what do you think about all this, putting it together based on what we know right now?
Yeah, I mean, I know Barry already had basically mentioned this, but I mean, a lot of the games and stuff up here has just been like the routine year seller data. So it's kind of hard to really say. I mean, obviously, with the Switch 2 was the only console that didn't have a price adjustment or increase, I guess, more specifically. But um, I think with everything all paired together, it's almost kind of setting a better expectation for the Switch 2 on an possibly unintentionally, just because like the others, if like other things are more expensive, then like well, then you're gonna want the cheaper option. So if it was pretty much the same price or similar, and then they just raised it $100, well, then you're gonna want to save the $100 and get it on the Switch 2 instead. So, um, I think it's kind of really hard to tell, at least with this specific month of data, because I think it would be almost of a comparison to see how July did, at least with the other consoles and other things like that. I don't think the games necessarily would really change a whole lot because a lot of those are the yearly seller type games. So, um, and as also as Barry said, it kind of stinks for smaller studios to not even have their games up there represented either. But that's just been an overall like console owning issue where all three of us obviously push the indie games, but not a lot of other people might not have always pick up quite a number of them. I mean, there's obviously exceptions with like Shovel Knight and even like Hollow Knight Silk Song and stuff like that, but I think for the most part, you have to really hit that lightning in a bottle recipe, or it just kind of gets lost in the herd there.
Hmm. Yeah. It is interesting, yeah. Like and we don't have to necessarily go back into it, but it is, we have the just the August numbers, and when you look at year to date, there are a lot of duplicates for sure. But yeah, it changes up a little bit for sure. But as we've said already, those top games are the ones that are still selling. But it seems like they're selling better this year, and maybe, as we said, having them on Nintendo Switch 2 is enough to change those numbers and say, oh, we're gonna potentially even rebuy some of these games that we have on other systems now that I can play it on the go, which we kind of saw with the original Switch when all these games that people played on Steam, now they could take on the go, and now they're going to download them again on their Switch or purchase them again on Switch to be able to play them on the go. Barry, any final thoughts about all this?
Like I think we talked mostly about it already. It's just the industry as it grows. It grows for some people and it doesn't for others. And I think the main goal and what Nintendo did so well, especially with the Wii and then again with the Switch, is it was the blue ocean, what they would call like the blue ocean games, where it would be a game that would just attract the attention of everybody. And they did this with the DS as well, and where that strategy does work, I know it alienates some like hardcore in quotes. Uh, I think the industry as a whole could use a little more of that, just because I feel like the majority of people that do buy games and do play games, they I think the average is something like 2 to 4 games a year is like, if you look at like all the people gaming, like that's what the average is. And if the average is 2 to 4 games a year, that is not healthy and sustainable, especially when every single week we've got way more than 2 to 4 games. And that's not saying that every game is going to appeal to everybody. And that's not saying everybody even has time to play all the games. But the just the broader appeal of games, I think, would be beneficial, because some games are addicting, especially like loot box games or gotcha games and stuff, and they'll one game would be like, oh, this is the only game I need. I'll just play this game all year, and you can be happy and fine, and that's fine for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is or at least comes from the majority of people doing that. They'll get
Mhm.
Madden. Madden was up there, and they'll sit there and they'll play Madden for 3, 4, 5 months, and that's all they'll play until something else comes out, which means every game that comes out between Madden and their next game is completely ignored. And
Mhm.
I'm a component of backlogs. We all have backlogs. There's so many games coming out. It's impossible to play and enjoy them all. But the people that are hurting are the developers. The people that are hurting are the publishers, especially the smaller ones. And when those games don't get sales, that's when those layoffs start to just stack
Mhm.
up.
Yeah.
And then everybody just chases the trend. When Fortnite came out, how many battle royales did we have? Every game had a battle royale. When Call of Duty blew up, every game was a grayscale first-person shooter. When Minecraft blew up, every game had to have some kind of building mechanic. Remember Farmville? When Farmville was huge, every game had to have some kind of farming mechanic. Anything to get money. It's like the cheapest way to let me copy someone's homework and try and piggyback off of their success and make money. There's no creativity. And when you have the developers that are doing creative stuff and are making really great, unique games that tell a story, that do something that pushes the envelope or pushes the genre forward or even creates a brand new subgenre, then there's like crickets.
Yep.
And that's the sad part.
Yeah. One other Blue Sky post I want to highlight from Matt. He says that the number of new games, because kind of goes right along with what we're saying, number of new games being released continues to climb significantly each year, while player count and hour growth are not keeping pace. Players are close to choosing FTP more with time and money, consolidating into the biggest offerings such as Fortnite, Roblox, etc. So basically, summarizing exactly what we're saying right now.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yep.
what I said.
Yep.
People are choosing the free-to-play games with like loot boxes or things that they can sit there and they can pour hundreds and hundreds of hours in and have fun, which
Yep.
again, there's nothing wrong with that. And
Yep.
that's what you enjoy, absolutely do it. The problem is the majority of people are doing that, and when there's more games released all the time, there's suffrage. I mean, this is basic economics. If you spend X amount of money to make a product, and then you put that product to market, and you don't sell enough of that product to break even, or even if you make a little money, it's significantly little. Your question is, do you follow it up with another product, or do you try something completely else? And most companies will be like, we're not trying this again. You know, the movies get canceled when like sequels get canceled when the first movie underperforms. Games the same thing. We see it time and time and time again. When if a company can only exist if it's profitable, and if a game is not profitable, if it costs too much to make, even if it doesn't cost a lot to make, it's still not profitable. They're not going to make a follow up. They never make another game. The studios close and die
Mm-hmm.
because of that. even when a game is $3.99, like, and you could get hundreds of hours. I see Jesse talking about Vampire Survivors. That was a $4.99 game. That made a killing. That broke through. That did a great thing. And again for $5, and it didn't
Mm-hmm.
microtransaction. It didn't loot box. I mean,
Right.
we did a game chat plug for it. Go check it out. And it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
But again, those are the outliers. Those aren't the main components,
Yep.
and it's sad. And then again, Vampire Survivors. How many Survivors clones have come out since? Again,
Right.
same. Let me copy the homework. It happens all the time, and it's not because those developers lack creativity or anything. It's because they put out something creative and it failed. So they said, "Well, let me try and make a cheap knockoff, and maybe at least I can make some money to fund my next creative project, and hopefully that catches on." And that's what sucks is that these devs are stuck to do this.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let us know what you guys think about all this in either the live chat or in the comments after the fact on YouTube. Hop over on our Discord or talk to us on social media. We'd love to know what you guys think as well. We have, of course, plenty of thoughts, but we want to engage with you guys too. So let us know what you're thinking about all these sales numbers, what you're thinking about the current state of the industry, and or maybe you're just kind of sitting back there and you're playing your video games and you're like, I don't care. This doesn't bother me at all. I'm just playing my Donkey Kong, playing my Roblox. I'm having a great time. And that's cool too. It's cool too. So let's jump into our final segment of our podcast where we talk about what's going to be coming out over the next couple weeks and the games that we will be playing. As always, going to be scrolling them on the screen. Compliments of Metacritic, who has a list of Switch 2 and Switch 2 game, or Switch 1 and Switch 2 games over the next couple weeks, and highlighting a few of those that are standouts. October 23rd is going to be a huge day for gaming, for sure. We got Jackbox Party Pack 11. They're coming back after a year off of not doing a party pack. On October 23rd, we're going to get version 11 with another set of games. Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, Angry Video Game Nerd 8-Bit, Persona 3 Reload, Double Dragon Revive, and Power Wash Simulator 2, all coming out on October 23rd, just a couple days away from the recording of this, which is on October 21st. And then October 27th, not to be outdone by Power Wash Simulator 2, we're getting a Tattoo Studio Simulator as well. So you can do that on October 27th. October 28th, the next day, we're getting 2 Point Museum and Farming Pro Simulator. So October is the time for simulator games. And that's Farming Pro Simulator 25. I'm guessing that's 2025 and not the 25th game that's come out. I don't think there's been that many Farming Pro simulators before this, but I could be wrong. October 30th, we're getting Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, Monument Valley, the trilogy, and Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake. And finally, on October 31st, not only is this the month for simulators, it's also the month for collections, and we're getting the Turok Trilogy bundle on Halloween. So of those games, maybe there's some others that I left out as I was looking through there, things that stand out to you. What are you hoping to play over the next couple weeks, Barry?
One game I noticed you missed. There's a game I just see on the screen now, Silver Bullet. We have a game chat coming out for that. But one thing you didn't talk about, I don't even know if you realized, Fast and the Furious Arcade
I did
is
see
coming to
that,
Switch.
yeah.
That's the game. That is amazing. That's from Raw Thrills. It's
Is
who
that
did
the
Cruise and
original,
Blast.
the actual arcade, or is this a new one they're
Yeah.
calling arcade?
No. It's the arcade game that was so good that the devs then did Cruise and Blast with Nintendo, and that was such a
Okay.
great game. So they're taking that arcade game and bringing it to consoles now.
Nice.
So
I didn't
that
look
that
into
is
it because I thought it was like a new, like cheaply made arcade version or
no,
something like that. I didn't
the
realize that. So
it's the
with
good
that
arcade
info,
game.
that's exciting. That's exciting. That's like what date is that? It's like sometime around the 20th, 27th,
Yeah,
28th or something, minute.
20. It's like early. It's like a week away or so. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's jam packed. My goal is to finish Pokemon Legends, which hopefully I'll do soon. And then I got some game chat games to do, which I'm going to be spending some time on that. Dragon Quest is the next big one for me. And I say that lightly just because there's so many other ones that you mentioned, like Double Dragon Revive, you mentioned, Angry Video Game Nerd 8-Bit, which hopefully we'll do a game chat on here. Persona 3 Reload, I've done already. I played it. It's fantastic. Absolutely, give that game a shot. It's so much. Oh, it's just there's too many things. And Hyrule Warriors is just around the corner.
It's not slowing down over the next 2 weeks after that. Yeah, Greg, what are you hoping to play over the next couple weeks? Anything new?
Probably the Dragon Quest 1 and 2. I know I never finished the third one on the original Switch, but um, I don't know. I don't know if it's better to start playing in the numerical order as opposed to the actual story order, but it might get me to go back and complete the third one HD 2D as well. But at least that's like the main one that sticks out that will be added in. But it'll probably hopefully I could try to finish up Hollow Knight, but sometimes it's hard to know for sure how long the game is, and I've probably been taking a lot longer than the average player because having to replay the same parts over and over again as you retry the boss fights. It's unfortunately somewhat frustrating, but you do kind of learn, and it's I don't know. I guess it's the better part of the trial and error in some aspects of it, but some things are kind of disappointing to have to be like, oh, I have to travel all the way here again, even because I just died, and go pick up my body that has all the currency on it, and hopefully I don't die along the way, and all that currency just gets flushed away. So
That is really interesting that they don't give you any sort of indication of how much you've played. That's shocking to me, I guess.
yeah, I know. Part of it is even with, like, the map thing, like, you actually have to equip, like, a trinket just to see where you are on the map, and I think that's kind of BS. Like, you should be
Mm.
able to, like, always know where you are at on the map at all times and not have to use one of, like, 2 slots just to know where, "Hey, I'm in this specific room," and that's also kinda silly in that regard too, but, I mean, these are just nitpicks, and I do like the game a lot.
You
Cool.
know what you two both should be playing?
Xenoblade Chronicles, yeah.
No,
No,
we
AI.
should.
It wants us to go
AI.
back to AI.
I said I would buy it, but you guys had to like play through and see through the story. You said, "Yeah, we'll do it." And you know what? You started and then you never went back. You did other stuff. Now, that was the stipulation for me buying you the games. Is that you got to actually play the game.
It's true. And then Donkey Kong came out and I forgot about
This
everything
was
else.
long before Donkey Kong.
Oh, before that, we all know that I
I think
wasn't
this
playing
was
any games.
before. I think this was before the Switch 2 even came out.
It's been a while. It's
Yeah.
definitely been a
And I
while.
haven't said anything. I've been waiting patiently to see if it pops up. And it's not. So I'm saying something and it's recorded. It's on record. It's on recording of you guys. You know, we had that deal online and I made good on my part of it.
That's true.
There's just so many games to play. You say it all the time.
I know. But you know what? How many game chats have I done? Right? I get a game to review and I do the game chat. So I want to hear
Well, it
it.
feels like
Until you do more
yeah,
game chats than I do, I don't want to hear that excuse, Craig.
well, you're also more like doing it as your professional role, so it also
It's true.
helps in
We
your
work in the
other
video game
aspects
industry.
of
No,
it
that
also
actually
helps.
takes time away from it because I've got to play games professionally as well. When it's different, it's a different playing. Trust me, when you play a game for ESRB versus play it for review versus play it for enjoyment, it's all very different.
Well, let us know what you guys will be playing if you haven't yet in the live chat, but also in the comments and everything. We want to hear from you guys as well. I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping to get some review codes for us for Jackbox. I'm always a big fan of those, and so probably playing those through the holiday season, usually when visiting family and stuff like that. Um, And then I still need to look at the Double Dragon, the new Double Dragon. I haven't even checked it out. I think since like the initial announcement, and that was it. I was like, oh, that's cool, and then I kind of forgot about it. So I need to look at it. I may get that. I don't know. But
Hey, if
like
you
we
can get us
said,
review codes.
there's just so many games, way too many games, and I know if I get Double Dragon and some of these other games, and I'm playing Pokemon, I'm not even going to touch AI because I've got too many other things to do. So
Yeah,
too
except
many games.
Pokemon. But no one bought you Pokemon.
That's very true. Bought that with my own hard money. That's why I'm playing it more. It
I
also,
see.
it
Wow.
also,
Wow,
um,
way to spit in the face of the gift.
I
Yeah.
figured, it's probably more important for us to talk about Pokemon than 8-year-old, 5-year-old game or whatever too. So I don't know. I'm just making up excuses at
You
this
who
point.
plays for 45 minutes. I've until you play more Pokemon Legends than I am, I don't want to hear from you
I
either.
only picked it up like a day ago, so I didn't get it the day it released. So, but yeah. Also, that's all I played this last couple weeks, except for some mobile games. I have played 45 minutes of video games this last 2 weeks. Didn't even touch Rocket League. Forgot even what it's called at this point. Didn't touch FC26. Haven't played anything else. I looked at the menu of Lego Party. Technically, I did that right after the last podcast, so it counts over the last 2 weeks.
Yep, and I at least downloaded Lego Party, but I just didn't boot that one up, and then
I at least downloaded the game. That almost counts as
Imagine
playing
That's
it.
right. That's right. One thing I have been doing over the last couple of weeks, I found that when I am playing less games, I'm actually keeping up with Nintendo news a lot more. So I was like, I know what's going on in the video game industry right now. I feel well equipped to talk about stuff in our podcast. Don't have any games to talk about, but I know I can talk about the news because I can read that as I travel around. Oh, well, we're going to be back. These guys are going to be back on November 4th with the next episode. We stream these live on YouTube and Twitch, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Hopefully, you guys can join in the live chat if you have not done yet. It's a great time to just engage with us as we're talking through all the different news, games we're playing, all those sort of things. We love interacting with you guys as much as we can throughout the recordings. So please be sure to join us, especially if you haven't done that yet. We'd love to say hi. Again, yeah, Barry and Greg are gonna be on their own next month. I'll be traveling, and hopefully, actually, it's all going to work out well. Right after, I think it's the day after that you guys will be recording, I will be headed to Universal Studios in Orlando and hopefully seeing the new Nintendo World down there. I've got a brief time, like I'll be there for like a half a day, but I am making a beeline to Super Nintendo World, and I'm going to see that. I'm going to ride the Donkey Kong ride. I'm going to ride the Yoshi ride, and I'll report back here on our next episode. That is my plan. It's going to happen. So, Greg, anything going on in your world you want to share before we wrap up this episode?
not too much. Still hoping to get that job, so then it'd be a little bit easier to buy more games and have Barry buy the games for me. So, yeah.
Hey, I'm not buying any more games because clearly, I'm gonna play them.
Nice.
Yep.
Barry,
Yeah, that,
yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, not tons of stuff going on. Just obviously, as Steve always likes to say, please give me a contact and send out resumes and be happy to work for you if there's a position available for me.
So everybody wants to hire Greg. Hire Greg. Hire Greg.
Hire Greg.
So Barry, what's going on in your world?
Yeah, it's been crazy, absolute crazy 2 weeks. I had my birthday. I post the last podcast, which I wanted to say was great, but it wasn't. So there was good parts to it, but my father is gained. He had a girlfriend who wound up gaining dementia and then like getting like shipped out of the country by her kids for like care. and he did not take it well, and his mental state has dropped, and he has a minor form of dementia that is now flared, and he is now getting angry and frustrated and back in and out of the hospital, and we're in the discussions of home versus like community kind of thing, and he doesn't want to do it, and it's
Ugh.
just fun. Yeah, on my
Ugh.
own birthday, my own father just randomly started like cursing me out because like I was trying to help him and he didn't realize it. So the fun of that, and
Yeah.
then what stems a wonderful birthday is to for me at least, now every 3 years I got to have a colonoscopy. So I had to do a colonoscopy and have the prep and all that stuff. So I'm happy to report that was clean.
Yay.
Nothing there. No polyps. I had a polyp last time, which scared
Oh.
the crap out of me because that could lead, and
Mhm.
I have to do it every 3 years because my mother, which if you're a long time listener, she died of colon cancer. Her brother, my uncle, died of colon cancer at my age. He was 44.
Mhm.
So it's been like a fear in the back of my head, like, oh my God, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. So I have to go every 3 years. So it's always nerve wracking. Like, what are they going to find? And so thankfully it came back clear, which is a sigh of relief. So I go again in 3 years, but it's just like I felt like I was on cloud nine, which is to
Mm.
hear like, yep, everything is clear. You're good.
Good.
And it's just one of those things where I stress to people, like, I know you have to fast for a day. I know it's a little uncomfortable. Do it. Do it. Do it. It's better than the alternative. It's better than the watching, going through the chemo and the radiation and all that. It's just you catch it early, you're going to be so much better off, and
Mm.
peace of mind. Just get it done, as early as you can. Start doing it. It's just healthy.
Mm.
So I'm glad to say I'm clean. I'm don't look forward to doing it again in 3 years. It is not necessarily the most comfortable experience, but it's quick. It was like 20 minutes. I had a really quick cat nap,
Hmm.
and if you've never been under anesthesia, it's like the best sleep you'll have, even if it's short. And it's
Yeah.
so freaky how you just go from awake to asleep in a second.
Hmm. That's weird.
I
Yeah, I
don't
don't know.
I don't know if you've ever been under.
Yeah, I've definitely been under, but I don't know if it's ever been that short of an amount of time.
Oh
That's weird.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
the way they do it. Like it's like a quick, because like if you're going for like open heart surgery, it's a very different anesthesia.
Yeah.
This it's like a quick, like they give you an injection, they feed your IV, and as long as it's feeding, they knock you out. And then when the procedure's done, they pull it out, and you're awake within like 5 minutes of them
Okay.
pulling it out. Like it's really really quick. You're
Hmm.
drowsy a little bit. You can't like drive and stuff, but it's just so
Yeah.
surreal to just be like, we're putting it in now. Okay,
Yeah.
and then just wake up and like, oh, you're done.
Yeah.
What? We're done.
I think the last time I was out was maybe when I had my wisdom teeth removed and I was like
They knocked you
20.
out for that?
Yeah. Well,
Oh
they had to,
no,
yeah.
I'm awake for that.
Oh,
What
really?
happened?
Yeah. Mine were all cut out under anesthesia. Yeah.
Yeah, I was the same. I was kind of knocked out as well too for wisdom teeth. I
I
think
mean,
it
you
just
had to get the
depends on.
laughing gas or whatever.
I've never had laughing gas. I was always like regular, IV
Wow.
thing. Yep.
No, I just had Novocaine the last time I had anything. It was just Novocaine. Go for it.
Wow. Well, this is why we have video games, because other things gets
Yep,
our mind off of this stuff. So,
absolutely.
well, let us know what, like, as we've said, all your thoughts and everything. Throw them in the comments. Join our Discord. We'd love to engage in conversations. And I look forward to, hearing what you guys talk about on the next episode. And then I'll be joining us back on November 18th with the one after that. And on the heels of our Game of the Year awards, we're almost at the end of 2025, which is just ridiculous. Time's flying way too fast. But thank you guys for joining us. Thanks to Barry and Greg always for chatting video games, and we'll catch you guys next time. Happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
See you next time.